SBH welcomes a new group of unexpected residents after law enforcement confiscates a group of skunks and raccoons from an illegal exotic pet operation. The animals, having spent their lives in cramped and unsuitable conditions, need medical evaluations and time to adjust to their new environment. Sarah leads the health checks, noting signs of malnutrition and stress in some of the rescues. Meanwhile, Sam and Rebecca work to ensure their transition is as smooth as possible, coordinating with authorities and making sure the sanctuary has the resources to support them. Nuka and Tala step in to assist, eager to help prepare their enclosure in the newly established nocturnal habitat. As the team works together, it's clear that SBH's reputation as a safe haven is growing, but so are the challenges of keeping up with the constant influx of animals in need. Hey y'all, Simply It's Logical here, and welcome back to the channel. But either way, thank y'all for joining me for today's episode of Shaded Pines Animal Haven. Now, as I'm sure most of y'all are aware, today we are building an exhibit for the raccoons and the skunks. Now, originally, these guys were supposed to be housed separately, but ultimately I decided to house them together, seeing as I couldn't find a big enough area for the raccoons' pool, but more about that later. For right now, let's talk about the build. So for this fence, I used the metal beams from the Australian pack for the frame, and then I added the mesh pieces for the interior of the frame, I guess you could say. And then I'm just going to take this and place it all the way around the entirety of this exhibit that I'm planning out for these guys. And I do want to note really quickly that my mouse is still kind of messed up, so I have cut out a couple different parts that maybe my mouse misclicked a couple times and everything. I'm just gonna have to get a new mouse, I guess. But here you can see the entire fence is done, and now it's time for the pool. So for this, you can see I'm using the 1x1 meter plaster piece for the rim, and then the 1x4 meter piece for the actual pool portion. And then I'm going to take all 4 pieces and do the circle trick where you copy them all the way around the entirety of the pool area, and then gonna go in and group all of them together and get them into position, and then it'll be time to do a quick recolor. I do settle on this light gray tone because I wanted it to look like concrete, but I also wanted it to look, I didn't want it to stand out too much in the exhibit. And then here you can see I'm adding in some 4x4 meter pieces for the base of the pool because I didn't want the pool to be too deep. I just wanted it to be shallow enough for them to walk through and kind of get their feet wet a little bit. And then you can see here, I'm kind of just trying to decide what drain I want to use. I do ultimately settle with this squared one, and now it's time to work on the gates. Now for these gates, I copied the ones from the beaver and moose exhibit that we built a couple weeks ago. So if you haven't checked that video out, I'll leave a link to that right about now in the video. But I'm just going to take those gates and put them into place, and then I'm going to take the plaster walls and fill in the entirety of the empty space, you could say, with different variations of sizes of plaster walls and everything. And then I'm just going to take this exact wall and double it up on itself to make it look seamless. And now it's time to work on the fencing for the interior of the habitat. And again, for this, I used basically the same styled fencing that I used for the night house in Saguaro Sanctuary. So I will leave the link to that tour video down in the comments below. Or right about now in the video, sorry. But we're just going to take the Indonesian brick, recolor it to the color that I find suitable for this build, and then raise the pillars up and kind of place certain, I believe I raised them up two bricks, height wise above the fence panel. And then I'm gonna take these pillars and I'm kind of picky about where I want them positioned. So I do go in and kind of mess with them a little bit, but here you can see I've gotten them all done. And now it's time to work on the climbing frame. And for this climbing frame, I found a reference photo of a climbing frame, sort of, for domestic cats. So all it is these big, like, Y-shaped pillars holding a long horizontal pole, and then these, like, steps up to the long pole. So that's basically what I did here. I do go in and add some more supports. You can see me doing that here with the thin climbable pieces. And then I'll copy these two and copy them around to make 4 supporting points. And then I'm going to take this whole piece and copy this into place in the different areas that I have all of these steps currently. And then once I delete all of the old steps, I will take a quick rope piece, like a tie down piece you can see here, and just put that on all of the ugliness of where all the poles join up. And now we are working on another climbing frame sort of thing. And for this, I wanted like a house sort of thing that the raccoons technically should be able to go in and sleep at. But because this is Planet Zoo and the hitboxes are crazy big, even though I have PZ Plus, it's not perfect. And so the raccoons cannot use this, but they do climb on it quite often. But here you can see I'm just taking the climbable pieces and adding in some supports. And then I'll take these, raise them up to match the bridge supports. And then I will take the climbable, I don't even know what the squared pieces are that I used. Like climbable panels, I guess you could call them. I don't know. But take those and copy those all around the base of this shelter area and use this for the house that I was talking about. I do end up bringing this and like extending it so it's like a double length. It's the entire length of this thing, I guess you could say, and taking some thicker climbing logs and kind of fixing it up a little bit. I do really like how this turned out, but I do wish the raccoons could also use it, and I do know that I can go in and play around with the sizing requirements since I have PZ Plus, but I'm just too lazy, honestly. And now it's on to some foliage work. So we're going to start off with the buffalo grass as per usual, and you can see here I've kind of already laid out where I want all of the grass and everything to be. And you can see that I have added in some more climbing frames outside. I do add like this catwalk wall off camera, and then I take that house that we just got done building and copy that outside too. So they do have some climbing outside, so that's good. But here you can see I'm taking buffalo grass to add for the foliage, and then we'll sink that down. And then let me see if I can get this right. All of the foliage that I've used for this habitat, which is the exact same as all my other builds, which consists of buffalo grass, arrowwood bushes, bracken, tree stumps, boudelea, I think is how you say it, lady ferns, a few holly trees here and there, the small baby ones, some diamond leaf willow bushes, and some nettles. And I do need to still go in with some sticks and twigs and stuff, but I'll do that later. But Here you can see it is now about just a couple minutes left of my voiceover, and I am actually going to go ahead and sign off. I know this voiceover might not have been the best. I do apologize for any sound or anything that you might have heard in the background. I'm in a completely new place recording because I am on vacation for a couple of months while my husband is at a training. And so I'm back home with family. So I've taken his mic and everything and I've brought it back down with me. But, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And again, I do apologize for any audio mess ups or anything that I had. This is my first voiceover recording with this new setup sort of thing. And it took me 3 days to get this setup figured out because I had to call my husband a couple times to help me. But, anyways, enough about that. I'm going to go and sign off. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. I hope you leave a like, a subscribe, all of that good YouTube stuff. And I will talk to you on the next one. Bye, guys.
Unlawful.